welcome everybody to this new course, which will be dedicated to project management. And I will try to look at the project management from as non-boring point of view as possible, but at the same time, trying to show you the formalities of project management, which I believe constitute the core idea of project management, especially for software development projects. So why this course could be important for you, why it may change something in your life, is that I believe that you are now studying for software engineering practitioners, for software engineering professionals, for maybe software engineering researchers in the future. And sooner or later, you will join some team. You will be a member of some team. You will be not a sole programmer, but you will definitely become some sort of a manager eventually. So it's just a matter of time. You will be transformed, you will be transferred, maybe transformed also, transferred from the position of a software developer who is only working with the software products, with the artifacts, to the position where you will start working with people. So you will start managing people, you will start affecting their life, affecting their output as well, affecting the way they produce software artifacts. So you will become a person who deals with people. And most people who become managers, according to my experience, they don't know exactly how to be a manager. They don't know what it means to be a manager in a software project. In a computer science, in a computer, not only software, maybe there could be hardware project, maybe you will develop some software / hardware system, but something in the area of IT. So most people don't understand what is project management, and they just believe that project management is just being a good friend, or being a good leader, being a people person, as they say. So being somebody who can have good relationship with the team, and that's how management happens. But this is not true, in my opinion. I believe, not only in my opinion, but it's just not true. And there are two trends, two quite opposite right now opinions about management. The first one I just explained to you. It's like you can hear it in many sources. On the internet, people publish books about that. They say that management is about leadership. So you don't manage, you just let people work. You just let people do their work. You just don't get into conflicts with them. You don't push them. You don't force them to do something. You just let them work, and that's how you be a manager. That's how the software project will be successful. And the opposite direction is then, and in this first direction, there are no basically strict rules. There are no strict definitions of what you do. You just read a lot of books about motivation. You just become a good man, good person, and everything will just automatically happen. Another approach is way more formal, way more formalistic, I would say, where they say that project management is quite well-defined scientific discipline, where we have the things that must be done step by step, item by item, and they can be grouped into specific activities, and there should be some specific documents created, and there should be some standards, there should be some formats enforced on these documents. So we have to follow certain procedures, and if we follow these procedures, then the project will be successful. So we're not thinking about people, let's put it in the most aggressive way. We're thinking about the process. So we're thinking about how to structure the way people work. And then, of course, we think about what people think, and we work with them, we care about them. But the most important part is to follow the process. So these are two opposite strategies. And in this course, we'll try to join them together. We'll try to see both of them at the same time, and try to formulate for us what is a good management. So I decided to structure the course into 10 lectures, because it's really good that we have 10 lectures, because there are 10 knowledge areas in the project management body of knowledge book, PMBOK. Maybe you've heard about it, PMBOK. So this book defines project management in a second approach. Not in the first one, where we believe that management is about leading people, but in the second, where we believe that management is about structuring the way people work. So giving people the structure so that they follow this structured process, and that's how they succeed. So the authors of this book, which is being published for, I believe, the last maybe 20 years or so, maybe even more. So they sort of defined a standard. They set the standard. They said this is how we should live. This is how we managers should live. So if each lecture will be about one knowledge area. And the first knowledge area is called integration management. It's where we integrate all the processes together. It's quite important. All of them are important, all 10. So in each of them, we will discuss them step by step, but I will try to make it in the least boring way possible. So let's start with the questionnaire. In each lecture, I will ask you questions, and you will just open your notebooks, take a pencil, and I will give you 8 questions right now, and you will have to answer them. Don't give me the answer, just write the answers down for you. And we will see how well you understand management right now. And then after the lecture, you will see that some of your answers may be wrong. So let's start with the first one. Read the question and choose the right answer and make a note for yourself. How did you answer the question? So I can read the question out loud. The question, it's a situation in life. Let's say you're the project manager. So your team just released the working version of a software product. The customer is happy, but he has a few new feature requests. So the customer is coming to you as a project manager saying that, yeah, I like the product, but we need more features. We need something else to be done. So don't give me the answers, just write the answer down for yourself. Because if everybody will just post now to the chat, will be too many options. So as a project manager, so what do? There is the questions, the answers, some of them are less right, some of them are more right, but one question is, in my opinion, the right one. So choose one and we move forward. So what do you do in the first one? You implement them, you just make the implementation, the answer number 2, you tell the customer that you're gonna pay for it. Number 3, you refuse and you play hard to get. So you just say, nah, we don't have enough time, don't have enough resources, trying to trick the customer into maybe offering you more money. Or option number 4, you just say, we've done what we've done, we close the project, bye-bye. So you choose the right one, choose one for yourself. Question number 2, you are a project manager, so I try to hire you, for example. You come to me at a job interview, and then I ask you, what was the most successful project where you were a project manager? What do you answer? Imagine you had some projects before. Imagine you already have some career, so you're trying to find a new job, so you came to me, I'm asking you. So what do you answer? The first one, you say, this was the project where we made $1 million for our customer. Second one, the one that helped save people's lives. Number 3, the one where I personally, as a project manager, made 6-figure annual bonus. So it was successful for you. And answer number 4, you say, I don't know. So you don't give an answer. For some reasons, up to you. So write it down. Question number 3. Let's say you're a project manager. A customer asks you, will you release a working software in 3 months with all features implemented? They just ask you exactly, in 3 months, will you release the software? So what do you answer? The answer number 1, I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. Who knows? Because there are many things may happen. Question number 2, I believe so. We'll do our best. So you come with a positive attitude. You just say, yeah, we're going to do it because we need to, we must. Answer number 3, you say, maybe if you double the budget to cover all the risks. So you put the expectations of a customer into the budget, say, yeah, you need it in 3 months, so we have some uncertainty. So how about you put more money on the table? Or you say, yes, of course, definitely. Not I believe so, not we'll do our best, but yes, you absolutely, sure, and you just say it out loud. So what's going to be the right answer as a good project manager? Question number 4, remember we have 8. Question number 4, close to the end of the project, a programmer asks you whether she will get a bonus when the project finishes successfully. What do you answer? So we are already close to the end of the project. She comes to you, a programmer, she says, we seems to be finishing it successfully. So I've done a lot of good work. So how about, will I get the bonus or not? So you answer first, I'll do my best to get it for you. So again, you come with a positive attitude. You try to fight for this person and get a bonus. Answer number 2. It depends on many factors because you don't know. It's probably not your money. You cannot decide it yourself. So many factors. So you will try probably, but depends. So you're not giving you don't confirm that you will do it, but you say that maybe. Answer number 3, do you think you deserve it? So you kind of it's less positive, right? So you just say maybe you don't deserve it. So you put this problem on the shoulders of her, the programmer. And the answer number 4, the most negative and aggressive one, you say, of course not. You're not gonna get it. So which one do you choose? Again, pick one. And by the way, who of you are a project manager right now? Can you say it in the chat? Or maybe raise your hand. So who of you actually manage people, programmers, and play the role of a tech lead maybe, or maybe a leader of a small group? So yeah, who are the 2 people out of how many we have? 49 people here, so 2. So not so many. Okay, so you had somebody says we had an experience. Okay, a few people had some experience. So put yourself in the shoes of a project manager. Try to think how you will act as a project manager. You will be a project manager. I told you in the beginning of the lecture, you will, it's inevitable. You will become, not in maybe in a year, not in maybe in a few years, but in, let's say, 10 years down the road of your career, you will become a manager. You will manage people. Otherwise, you will not get, your salary will not grow. So in order to get bigger salary in software industry, you have to step up and become a leader of other people. So you start taking responsibility. So what do you answer in this case? So this innocent programmer, she comes to you, she wants a bonus. What's your answer? Question number 5. If we ask 4 project managers what your project is about, which answer comes from a good project manager? So you're just coming to 4 people and saying, what do you do? What your project is doing? Well, tell us what you do in a coffee shop. So they answer the first one. We're learning how to use a new technology. Second one, they're just learning to use a new technology. So they are trying to find out how to use it. Second answer, we're building a software. So they're focusing on making an artifact. So they're building a software. And imagine they're doing the same. So imagine these 4 people, they're doing the same thing, but they just look at the situation, look at what they do from different perspectives. So which perspective is better, is more logical, is more reasonable to have for a project manager? Answer number 3, we're trying to develop a new algorithm. And answer number 4, we're fixing a problem. So something is wrong and we're fixing it. So which one is a more reasonable, for a professional project manager, for a person who understands project manager, how would that person answer? It's a bit tricky question. Answer question number 6. We have 2 more coming. The scope is unclear. Imagine the situation. The scope is unclear. The team is immature. That management is chaotic. The risks are huge. The customer doesn't know what they want. What do you do as a project manager? So it's a total chaos. Not enough understanding of what to do. The team is unprofessional, and you are the project manager. They put you there and they say manage it. So what do you do? What's your reasonable answer to this situation? First one, find another job, and many people say that actually. So just get out of there and find a project where the situation is much better. The answer number 2, set the limits of your responsibility. So just define the territory where you can take the responsibility and say, I'm not responsible for your chaos. I'm not responsible for all the mess which happens around me, but I'm responsible for what I do, for what I can manage. Answer number 3, rely on already established mechanism of the company. So find something which already exists in the company, some rules, some mechanisms, and just stick to them. So be a good, let's put bureaucrat, so be a good person of rules. And answer number 4, conquer. So basically take control. So use the situation for your own purpose. So try to take as much as possible from this situation for yourself. So how would you act being a good project manager? That's an interesting question. A good project manager is doing one of these four things. What do you think it is? The first one, leading. Leading people forward. Just people go, they follow this guy because he or she is a good leader. Second, helping the team. The team is doing something, so they need the help of a manager. So the manager is helping them. Judging. So just looking at them and saying, I think you're doing a good job, you're doing not a good job. I think you deserve a bonus, you don't deserve a bonus. So that's judging. So becoming a judge. So in the first position, it's a leader. The second, it's more like a mentor. The third, it's a judge. And the point number 4, punishing. So just you fired, because you made a mistake, you made a mistake. So which one is a good answer? And question number 8, which book can make, that's a question maybe it will be difficult for you to answer, but I still decided to ask this because it's a first lecture, so maybe it will help you to understand where to go. So what book can make you a good project manager? The first, and actually, if any one of you ever heard or maybe read one of these books, raise a hand. But I don't think maybe you didn't have a chance to look at them, but still, you probably should. That's the quite famous book. The book number 1, Drive. The book Drive is explaining, it's quite popular in software community, explaining that how people are driven by, what people are driven by. They're driven by intrinsic motivation, so they love to work, we just need to help them and they will move forward because they love to be creative and love blah, blah, blah. That's the first book. The second book is Scrum. It's quite well defined. They define the rules of Agile. You know Agile because this course is called Agile. So we will refer to Agile as well. So they define how to do Agile. Book number 3, Microsoft Project Step by Step. Microsoft Project is a software product. It's a software product which project managers use in order to draw a graph, in order to schedule the work, in order to break down the scope of work into elements and decide who does what, and then track the completion. So they know that this is your part of the work, this is his part of the work, this is her part of the work. So they connect together one after another. So they track that. It's basically a task tracking, work tracking software. So this is answer number 3. If you think number 3, if you think that this is the book which is important for a project manager. And book number 4, it's PMP exam preparation. So there is a exam which you can take if you read the PMBOK, Project Management Body of Knowledge book, which I mentioned earlier, and then you decide to take an exam, and then you basically want to prove that you know every single rule which is written in this PMBOK. So you understand project management from a formal perspective. Then you take this exam, and this is the preparation exam. That's a book which prepares you for the exam so that you understand it well. Okay, choose your answer. What do you think is more reasonable for a project manager to study? To study how to be the leader, to study how to understand the Agile, to study how to understand the software which tracks the software, or to study the formalities of project management. So you wrote down your answers. Now we get back to the question number 1. I will now tell you right answers. And let me make a disclaimer that this course is very opinionated. So I will give you my opinion, and most probably most of you will disagree with what I'm going to say. So take it as a subjective personal opinion of the teacher, of me. There are many other opinions on the market about project management because this discipline is quite informal. It's quite difficult to prove anything in the area of project management. Something can be proven, and you will participate in this research like every one of you actually pick the research topic, and you will do some research, so you will try to prove something, but it's not really there is no absolute truth. So even if you ask 100 project managers what is the right answer, and they will give you the right answer, and the majority will give this answer, it doesn't mean that this is an absolute truth, because you can take another 100 project managers and you can get different results. So it's not really a math. It's not really a solid science where something is really proved formally as using a formula. Everything is empirical. So you just look at the reality, observe it, and you say, in the majority of cases, this is the right way. And in the majority of situations, this is how you should act. So I will teach you from my perspective, from the majority of my situations, how I've seen software development projects for the last 30 years in my career. So don't don't blame me for being some very for telling you something which contradicts what you may read from books, what you may hear from other people, what you may hear from other teachers, from other students. So here, the right answer. And somebody's saying in the comments that there is no right answer. Well, actually, in my opinion, there is a right answer. So I will not, this is the only moment I will give you the disclaimer. And later in the course, I will not say it again. I will not repeat it that this is my opinion. I will always say this is the right answer. And then you just do it yourself. You just compare with other answers and then you decide whether my answer is right, whether another answer is wrong. But I will only teach you my perspective. It'll be just faster and easier instead of every time jumping back and saying, other people think differently. So here, question number one. Your team released a working software product. The customer is happy. They have a new feature request. So they come to you and they say, we want to continue. So we want to make new features and continue the project. It may look logically to think that the job of a project manager is to continue the project, is to make it longer, is to somehow extend what we've done before, because we want to make the customer happy, we want to make more money for the company, and so on and so forth. The right answer is number 4, close the project. That's a global general misunderstanding in people who manage things, is that project management is a continuous activity where you manage and manage and manage and manage until they pay you the salary. The idea of project management according to PMBOK is that the project is a time boxed activity. It's not only time boxed, but it's also budget boxed and it's also cost boxed. So there's a well-known so-called management triangle. So you can Google for it, management triangle. There are 3 elements of project management: the scope, the time, and the cost. So there are 3 boundaries. There are 3 limitations, 3 limits, which are given to you by the universe, by the reality around you. And you as a project manager, within these boundaries, you have to close the project. Your job is to close the project. The job of a manager is to stop the project. The sooner you stop the project, the better. The faster you close the project, the better. The closer you stay within these boundaries, the better. So every time we want to extend the project and continue it, it's a wrong intention. We need to close this one and open a new one. So that's why these answers are tricky. So the first 3 answers, they are about continuing. So it's for the people who misunderstand the idea of what is a project. A project, that's the definition coming from this PMBOK, from the book. So they're saying that the project is an endeavor which intends to deliver some artifact, to deliver something tangible and then stop. So our job is to deliver and stop. And the job of a project manager who is in charge of this process is to see how soon we can do this. How soon we can stop spending money, stop taking time, and finish the scope. The scope is what we need to do. The time is how much we need to spend. The budget is how much money we need to spend. And scope is what we need to implement. For example, the customer is saying, we want a mobile app which tracks the attendance of the students in their classroom. We have, $1,000, and we have 1 month. So this is the management triangle for you. The scope, the application for the students to track their attendance, the cost or the budget is the $1,000, and the time is 1 month. So your job is to stay within these 3 boundaries and finish it within these limitations. So let's quickly just discuss the other 3 answers. The first one, implement them. Of course, it's wrong. Why? Because you will go over the scope. Even though it may look good for you because you do something for the customer may be happy, but you as a project manager should not allow this to happen. You should not move over the scope unless the scope is changed, unless everybody sit down together and decide, okay, now we extend the scope. So we make the scope larger. Instead of only implementing the application for the students, let's say this application also allow to share photographs between students. That's an additional scope. So we extend the scope, then we need to discuss the other 2 things on this triangle, the budget and the time. So they always change simultaneously. They always change together, all 3. So just implementing them, it's completely wrong. So just jumping in and trying to help the customer by extending the scope, that's a mistake many project managers do. And this is called also sometimes scope creep. So when the scope just gets larger and larger and larger, and nobody controls of the relationship between the scope and the budget, the scope and time. So you as a project manager need to control these three elements and always be sure you are the only person in charge of this. Because everybody around you, your programmers, the customer, they all have different objectives. They have different intentions. The customer will always want you to do scope creep. The customer will always try to put something into the scope without changing time and budget. That's what customers do. The programmers, they will try to extend the time. So they will always try to say, we'll do it later, we'll do it maybe next month. They will just extend the time, get it bigger. And they will try to extend the budget as well. So they will try to ask you for more money, the salary raise and everything. So you need to control and not allow this to happen. So you're the only person who is interested in taking control of this management triangle. Answer number 2, ask for more money. Again, you're trying to extend the budget, asking the customer for more money. It's better decision. This option is definitely better than the first one. The first one is completely wrong. The second one is a bit better because in this case you're saying, okay, we extend your scope, but give us the money. But you don't here ask for the time. So maybe the time is lost here. We forgot about the extending the time here. So it's less reasonable. And of course, again, it's better for you to stop it. So instead of making this triangle larger and larger and larger, it's better to just close and say, I'm done it, I finished this project, and then start a new triangle, build a new triangle and say we have a new scope, a new budget, and a new time. In general, it's always better to have small projects which finish and then start new one instead of having a large one which takes years and years and years. So you as a project manager should fight for closure of the project. This is your number one objective. Finish, close the project instead of just sitting and looking what's going on. You are not a coordinator as a project manager. You're not a person who observes what happens. You are the person who closes the projects. And answer number 3, refuse, play hard to get. Well, that's just not funny when you do it like this. In this case, you just demonstrate that you're not really a project manager who can stand on the position of protecting the project, but you're just trying to trick the customer. So that's just psychologically wrong answer. You have some questions, so I better answer it now instead of moving to the next question. So one question, what should a customer do? It seems that the customer may leave you with a bad mark to you if you disagree to continue. That's an interesting comment. Indeed, the customer may not be happy always. Indeed, the customer, if you say, for example, ask for more money, if you refuse to implement, if you insist on closing the project, the customer may not be happy. You as a project manager must remember that the customer is only one of the people who you work for. You not only work for customer, you work for many so-called stakeholders, and we're going to discuss it on the second question. So making customer unhappy is part of your job description. And good project managers, they do make customers unhappy, but they make successful projects. So if you intend always to make the customer happy, you most definitely will end up with unsuccessful projects. That's kind of a it may sound counterintuitive because we all believe that we work for the people who pay us money, but you need to think that the customer just put the money into the budget, and then many other people, stakeholders, put something there as well. The programmers, they put their time. The users of the product, they also put something in there. And then your job is to protect this triangle and be the guard of all the resources which stay in the project and all the resources. Yeah, the time is a resource, money is a resource, and scope is I would also call it a resource. So your job is to protect this and to make sure that you work for the project. You don't work for the customer, you work for the project. And if the project at the end meets its objectives, so the project makes what the project wanted to make, and the customer is unhappy, then it's customer's problem. And if you stay like this, if you believe in this, if you're not afraid of making customer unhappy, but at the same time making the project successful, then your career will be successful. So you will make yourself and everybody around you a big favor. Another question, you close the first to make another deal with them afterwards if you wish. The point is that for a good manager, you should calculate many things before taking the development. So the point that you're not going to refuse, you just must handle offer another way within another future project. Yes, that's exactly my point. So you don't, of course, say to the customer, we close the project and we close the relationship with you. Definitely not. We will continue to work with you, but it's going to be a new project, maybe with a new manager, maybe with a new budget, maybe with a new scope. It's going to be new endeavor. So my point in this slide is to tell you that the project is a time boxed and cost boxed and scope boxed activity. It's not a continuous job. If you're a programmer, then your job, your objective is to stay in the company, stay in the project for as long as possible. So you do whatever they tell you to do. They ask you to develop this part of the software, you develop it. They ask you tomorrow to do this, you develop it, because you get the salary every month. So no matter what they tell you, you're going to continue working with the company. A project manager thinks differently. A project manager goes from project to project. Finish, start a new one. Finish, start a new one. So if the project manager will start thinking as a programmer who just wants to stay in the job for as long as possible, that's going to be a big trouble for the project, for everybody. Okay. Next question. We deal with that. So we agree a project is a fixed time activity. Second question. Probably now you may already understand that the right answer here is number 4. You don't know. So the 3 first answers are wrong. The project, like I said before, the project has a number of so-called stakeholders. So many people participate in the project activity. Many people are affected by what you do. Not only the customer. The customer is just one stakeholder, just one person with the money. But there are also programmers who do the work. And there are also, for example, a data center where we put our servers. And there are also the users who will use our product. So there are many categories of people. There are many groups of stakeholders. And the answer number 1, for example, you just say, my successful project is when I made $1 million for the customer. How does it make a project successful? It makes a customer successful. It makes a customer happy. The customer is happy. He made let's say at the same time in this project, a lot of people suffered because we released on the market the software which was extremely buggy, extremely defective, but the customer made the money because the software was sold to another company, and then that company just trashed that software because it was absolutely not working, but the customer was happy. How much of success it was, because you actually made just one stakeholder happy, but you made thousands of people unhappy. You cannot say that the project was successful. So you cannot say, you can only say which stakeholder was successful. And let me put it this way, in every project, there are positive stakeholders and there are negative stakeholders. The positive stakeholder is the one which benefits from the project. A negative stakeholder is the one that suffers when we finish the project. Let's take a look at the answer number 2, the one that helps save people's lives. So let's say you were developing the software which using artificial intelligence, helping people get help diagnose their diseases. So instead of going to the doctor, they just open an application. They say what they see, the blood tests, for example. They put their parameters there, and the software says you have this kind of disease. You need to take that kind of a pill. Successful. Did you save people's lives? You can say it indirectly. Yeah, definitely. You helped a lot of people, like thousands of people become happy. But you also made thousands of people or hundreds of people unhappy. Who are they? The doctors. Because the doctors are not getting the money anymore. So you made many stakeholders, negative stakeholders, very unhappy about your product. So they are probably, saying bad things about you after the project is complete. And that's the reality. In every project you do, there are negative and positive stakeholders. You cannot have only positive stakeholders. It's not possible. It's not happening. So in reality, you will have both. This and that, and positive and negative. You as a project manager, you need, when you start a project, you need to understand who are these stakeholders, Who are the negative stakeholders? Who are the positive? And most project managers, they make a mistake. They only focus on positive stakeholders. And when the project starts progressing, the negative stakeholders show up and they ruin your project because they don't want it to succeed. They want it to fail. And for good reason, like the doctors, they have their families, they want to feed their families, they have their salaries, they want to get their food on the table. They don't want to get lost, to lose their jobs. So they will try to ruin your project. They will try to stop you from releasing your software. And you need to, as a good project manager, you need to deal with that somehow. You need to, when you start a project, you need to think, how are you going to deal with these negative stakeholders? What are you going to give them instead? For example, in this case, for the AI, the application for making medical conclusions, maybe you can make something for the doctors and they say, you have a login to this software as well, and you can use our software the way that you will also benefit somehow. Maybe the clients will be able to click the button and say, no, I still want to talk to the doctor because the suggestion made by the AI is not complete enough. And then the doctor will be registered there, and the doctor will get that connection with the patient. In this case, your doctors will probably become your positive stakeholders. So you turn their negativity, because it exists, it's inevitable. You're going to turn it somehow into the positivity. So they will positively look at your project. So the answer 2 is absolutely about nothing. You save people's lives. What people? How many people's lives you affected negatively? A lot. So you cannot call this project successful. Answer number 3. The one where I made 6-figure annual bonus. You personally, like I'm a project manager, I say, yeah, I made money. How many people died after that? I don't care. How many people suffered? I don't care. I just made a good, it's reasonable. This answer is more reasonable than the answer number 1 and number 2, because you say that at least here you announce let's put it this way, you announce the right stakeholder. Maybe in the answer 1 and 2 you also say who are the stakeholders, but in the answer number 3 you're more open about what happened. But still, it's not the right answer. The right answer is number 4, because nobody asked you about which stakeholder you're talking about. So if you're a good project manager, you should say, I had many projects, and in some projects we had more successful stakeholders in the end, in some projects less successful. I can tell you about a story where one stakeholder, the customer, made some money, but if you want to know who lost the money because of this, I can also tell you this story. So that's an answer I would love to hear from a project manager who comes to me if I interview a project manager. That's a question here. What is the measurement of success in a project? If you have it, you can compare the projects so you do know. What is the measurement of success? Well, if you really want to know, but the bottom line is there is no definition of success. You as a project manager need to understand there is no one bottom line where we can say the project was successful. The person who says it is just incompetent project manager. This person just doesn't understand that there are stakeholders. Everything I just explained to you, that person doesn't understand. So if somebody tells you that we had a successful project, you just need to know you're talking to a person who is not a professional project manager. So if you ask me what I believe, how I would grade projects by their level of success, I would say that if the project was able to make the majority of positive stakeholders happy, and then neutralize the negative effect on the negative stakeholders, then this project is probably the most successful. So, and again, the customer happy is not an indicator of success. I've seen projects where we finish, the customer is unhappy, the customer doesn't want to work with us anymore, but the project by itself was done right, we did everything correctly, and we believe, as people who participated in the project, that it was a good work. While I know other examples where the customer is happy, but what we've done, we don't see it as something we are proud of. So it's many stakeholders. That's the point of this slide. Is you need to understand the term stakeholder. Stakeholder is somebody who is benefiting or losing after you complete the project. Okay. Next one. You're a project manager. A customer asks you, will you release a working software in 3 months with all features implemented? Your answer. Answer number 1. Well, I don't know. Well, that's a wrong answer, of course. Well, the right answer is number 4. let's discuss the wrong answers. The wrong answer is number one. Well, I don't know. So the project manager says, how can I know? There are many unknown things that may happen. Many things may go wrong, right, in the project management. So down the 3 months, anything can happen. The lead engineer may just quit the company, or I don't know, the technology which we're using will prove wrong, and we will not be able to use it. So we just don't know why it's wrong. The job of a project manager is to know things. It doesn't mean that the project manager must be right. It doesn't mean that the project manager knows that the prediction the project manager is giving is gonna happen, is gonna be accurate. Most probably it will not. But the project manager at any moment of time, as the job of a project manager, is to know how long it will take to finish the project. Down to the minute, not approximately 1 year, but down to the day. So like, I don't know, 253 days. The project manager needs to know at any point of time when the project is running, how much money we're gonna spend until the project is closed. So it's gonna take 257 days. It's gonna have $1,547.57. So down to every dollar. The project manager needs to know how much, what's going to be the cost we're going to implement. So remember this triangle, these three elements. So the project manager knows of these three elements, how much is left. And of course, this forecast, this prediction, this estimate which the project manager is making, it may be wrong. But the job of a project manager is to re-estimate this every day. Every minute, ideally, every day, every week, every month. So the project manager just looks at the reality, looks at what's going on, just knows the risks. We're going to discuss risks later, but knows all the problems which potentially may happen, puts all the pieces together, calibrates them, makes the estimate, and says, I know what's going to happen. The answer is number 4. So the answer is yes, of course, we're going to do it in exactly 3 months, like we promised. But tomorrow, I'm going to give you a different answer. So if you come to me tomorrow, I'm going to re-estimate everything, and I will say, no, it's going to be not 3 months, 3 years. Sorry, something just came up just 5 hours ago. And because of this, because of new information, I'm going to give you the new estimate. So this new estimate is coming from a project manager very often. And it may be different numbers, maybe different estimates, but every time there should be an estimate. That's the job of a project manager. If you don't provide this information as a project manager, what are you doing there? Why do we need this position in the first place? Why do we need somebody to sit there and just look at the reality and just say, I don't know how much time it will take, but I'll do my best. Like the answer number 2, I believe so. You're not here to believe. We don't need you to be a leader who encourages people and they believe, you believe, but in reality, we don't know how much it will take. We're not here for believers. We're here for people who estimate things using the instruments for the estimation, who puts all the numbers together, and then they tell us how much it will be, how long it will take. So that's the job of a project manager, to clearly, to see the future and predict the future using as many and as powerful as instruments as it's possible to get. For this, the project manager needs to constantly review, let's say, the estimates of programmers. The project manager needs to go around and ask people, how much do you think it will take this work? How much time it will take for delivering this, this shipment to the office? How big is the scope change which we're gonna implement? So all the questions you as a project manager, you ask around and you put it together in this triangle, and then you show this triangle to all stakeholders who are interested, for example, to the customer. And then the customer, using this information, they will rely on this information and they will make management decision. Maybe their one management decision will be to close the project, to finish it, to stop it now, because the estimate coming from the project manager that the project will be finished in 3 years instead of 3 months. Then the customer will say, well, thanks for the estimate, you're fired. And the whole team is fired. But you as a professional project manager must do it. You must deliver the honest information, the true information. And then what's going to be the decision? It's not your problem. It's none of your concern. The customer who is putting money on the table, they will decide to continue or to stop. But they must see the real information. They cannot make a decision if you tell them, like in the answer number 2, I believe so, I'll do my best. How, imagine yourself being a customer. You just invested $1 million, and then some guy is telling you, I believe so. We're gonna do our best. You don't need that. You need an estimate. You need a clear list of problems which may stop them from getting there in 3 months. And this list of problems, which we call risks, we're going to discuss them in a number of lectures. Then the risks, they must be delivered to you as a customer by the project manager. So if I'm a project manager, my job is to be honest with you about all information I know about the project. So I need to tell you, yes, we're going to deliver it in 3 months, but keep in mind that there are 5 things which may happen next week. And if they happen, then my estimate next week will be not 3 months, it will be 3 years. So just know about them. There are 5 things which we keep on the list. We call them risks. They didn't happen yet, but if they happen, then my estimate will be completely ruined. It will be completely wrong number, completely new numbers. So be prepared for that, and the customer will rely on that information. Answer number 2, I just explained to you that this is absolutely wrong. So don't be the manager of that kind. So don't be the believer. Don't be the person who encourages customers, especially. It's a very dangerous road. So if you start playing this game, and if you start being a good guy with the customer, if you try to please the customer by telling him by lying to him, then it's going to be very dangerous road, and you will eventually, your career will end up badly. In the beginning, it will look good. In the beginning, you will look like a good guy. You will look like somebody who gives very interesting promises, who are always positively looking at things. You're always saying that we do our best. We're gonna work on the weekend. I work with your project day and night. I'm fully engaged with your project. It will work until you're lucky. Well, while you're lucky. If you're lucky, if the estimates of the customer, the expectations of the customers will get in line with what the reality will show, then they will think that it happened because of you, the good project manager. But eventually your luck will stop. Eventually your beliefs and the expectations of the customers, they will not get into the same point in the future. So you will promise them, you will say we'll do our best, but in 3 months you will have nothing to deliver. And then the customer will blame you, and blame you severely. And it's just not professional. You as a project manager, a professional project manager, should always tell the truth to the customer. But of course, it's a big question. We're going to discuss it on the lecture, which will be about managing of stakeholders, of how to deal with stakeholders. It's one of the last lectures. We're going to discuss how to be honest with the customer, but still keep the customer, emotionally stable, because not every customer is ready to accept the truth. Not every customer will be happy when you deliver the bad news. When you tell the customer, yes, we're going to do it in 3 months, but wait 5 days, and in 5 days I'm going to give you a new estimate, and that estimate may extend the project time scale, the timeline, for about another 5 months. And the customer will say, hey, give me another project manager who will always lie to me, who will always tell me we'll do our best, we're working hard. But then when the reality will kick me back, then I will just fire the project manager. But for most customers, it's safer to act like this. For most customers, they never study project managers, so they don't know what it is. So they believe that project management is most about our feelings, about our beliefs. So if you believe in success, then success will happen. But it's not true. The success will happen when you predict it, when you estimate it, when you plan it, not when you believe in it. So the answer number 2 is absolutely wrong. It's a totally immature project manager who knows nothing about actually management. Answer number 3. Maybe if you double the budget to cover all risks. This is close to the right answer, because you're saying that, I know the risks, so my forecast right now, it's like, let me decrypt this message. So this message is saying, I know that it's going to take 3 months, but I know the risks, and these risks are expensive. Like they will, if they happen, then the timeline will extend like massively, grossly. So it's going to be not 3 months, but 8 months, for example. But I know that if I pay now, for example, there is a risk, for example, and this risk says that one of my key software engineers, key developers, is now trying to find a new job because she's thinking about moving to another country. So she's going to move to another country in 2 weeks, most probably. And she's now looking for a new job. But she's responsible for the critical element of the software system. So will we finish in 3 months? Yes, if she doesn't move to another country, then everything will be fine. But the likelihood of this to happen is very high because she's already moving, because her husband already got a job in Japan. So most probably she will go together with her husband. So it's just most likely will happen. So the probability of this risk to materialize is 95%. But it's not yet materialized. So she's still in our team. She's still working with us. So my estimate is yes, 3 months. But come to me next week. I'll tell you 1 year instead of 3 months. What can we do? Give me the money. I will hire another engineer. I will hire somebody right now, pay double salary because I will pay the salary to her and to the new guy at the same time. So we're going to have 2 people getting more money. You didn't give us this money before because we didn't plan it. We didn't think about her moving out to Japan. It was not on the plan when we started the project. But now we know that this risks is right here. So give us more money. I will cover this risk. I will mitigate the risk. And then 3 months will be okay. It's not gonna be 3 months because we need to teach that new person to get to on board to the project. But it's gonna be, instead of 3 months, maybe it's gonna be 3 months plus 2 weeks, but not 1 year. So that's a reasonable answer, number 3. It doesn't disclose everything I just told you to the customer because the customer may not understand all these details, but it says just give me the money, and yes, in this case 3 months. But the right answer is number 4. It means that the project manager predicted everything. The project manager already calculated everything. The project manager knows it's going to be 3 months with all the calculations on board, with all the additional budgets already asked for. So the project manager was not waiting for the customer to come and ask the question, and then the project manager says, okay, give me the money so I cover my risk. The project manager already did it last week. The project manager already approached the customer with this information and said, look, we have a risk. The key engineer is moving to Japan, probably. So give us the money. We're going to start hiring. So I already started hiring. I already hired that person. I already covered that risk. And now I know 3 months for sure. So I minimized all my risks down to the level where I know for sure that, yes, I'm going to finish the project as expected. Of course, it's not a guarantee. Like I told you, tomorrow come to me, I'm going to give you a different estimate. But now, today, I'm sure. So if you are not sure as a project manager, you're a bad project manager. A question from the audience. What if a customer says maybe in 2 months? What if you say no? You propose your estimated time. If the customer says 2 months, that the professional project manager will say you want smaller. You want to change my management triangle. So I'm sitting right now on the scope, on the budget, and on the time. I know my triangle, and you're asking me to change one of the angles of this triangle. Then I immediately have to change others as well. I cannot just change for free to change the time. I cannot change for free the scope. You need to change something else as well. So a professional project manager has a thing which is called change control board, change control mechanism on the project. So when somebody is coming to you and say, please tell me whether you can do it in 2 months, you need to come back to this person as soon as possible, not immediately, but very fast, with an estimate how much we're going to change the other 2 angles of the triangle. For example, the customer said, how about 2 months? You say, sure, but this feature is not going to work, and you're going to pay us $5,000 more. And the customer says, no, forget it, I changed my mind. Or the customer say, okay, good, done. Where do I sign? So your job as a manager is to establish this mechanism so it works fast, so you can quickly deliver this information to me. Not just start playing the game with me and say, well, it's very difficult, we have blah, blah, blah. No, just give me the numbers. So put emotions aside. Just immediately estimate how much it's going to cost to change one of these. And sometimes the customer might come to you with a different question. For example, they will say, how about you spend less money? I promised you $1 million, but I don't have so much right now. I have 50% less. So what do you say? You don't say, well, you promised us 1 million. What happened to you? We're going to sue you. You just say, no problem. You have less. We're going to deliver less. Or we're going to deliver slowly. We're going to deliver not in 1 year. We're going to spend 2 years. So you change one of the angles of the triangle. We immediately suggest to change the other 2. And we immediately generate the document for you. You just sign it. We continue working. Nothing personal. The reality may change. The customer may see some changes in the situation with the business. The money may be, he may be short on money. He may need it faster. He may need additional features. You respond quickly with the changes to the triangle. That's how it works. That's your job as a manager. Always look at the reality which happens on the project. Always know how much it will cost, and always ready to change. Always ready to recalculate, but always calculate down to numbers. So in the end, you always have numbers in your hands. You look at it and you know exactly what will happen. You know exactly how much time it will take. So the answer number 4 is right. Question number 4, close to the end of the project, programmer asks you, oh, that's very interesting. We're close to the end. Maybe you know it already, the answer. So she's coming to you. End of the project, close to the end of the project. See how the question starts. So we're already moving down to the end of the project. And then she comes to you and says, whether I will get the bonus. The right answer, as you might expect, is the answer number 4. The answer is, of course, not. And here we're going to discuss the rules, which the job of a project manager is to establish in the project when the project starts. The reality comes to you, the stakeholders come to you with this triangle. They tell you the scope, the cost, and the budget. The scope, the cost, and the time. Your job as a manager is to establish the internal rules of a project inside your project. So how your people, how your resources will work together, what will they get for what? So what's their motivation? What's their rules of communication? What's their rules of everything? So everything that will happen, you look at the project as a territory of control, the territory of your control, where your job is to establish the laws, establish the rules, the principles of work, and then you step aside. So you don't manage people every day by talking to them, by sitting next to them, by helping them, by mentoring them, by judging them. You just set up the rules like a lawmaker, and make sure these rules are very effective in order to encourage people to do productive work. And one of the things which should be there in the rules is the rules of motivation, the rules of compensation. Because of that, without that, people will not work with you. So you need to tell them why they work in your project. You need to say, you're going to get the salary, you're going to get the bonus, you're going to get the compensation for your overtime, you're going to get this, and this. This is the paper for you. You stick it on the wall. You put it on the wall and say, here, these are the rules why we work here. This is the compensation and motivation for every one of you. And then I just step aside. I don't need to tell you these rules every day. I don't need to come to the office and say, why are you late today? Why you're not in the office at 9 o'clock like we need to be, but you came to the office at 11. This is only a bad manager does this. A good manager has the rules, which says if you arrive to the office at 9, you get a bonus of, $50 every day. That's it. Who doesn't want this bonus, they will come at 11. Who wants this bonus, they come at 9. That's it. You don't judge, you don't control them anymore. You just set the system that controls when they arrive to the office, and then the automatic system to pay them the money. So if she comes to you, the programmer, and asks you whether I will get the bonus, it's an indicator of a bad project management. You didn't set up the rules. So how come she worked in your project for the whole time and didn't know about that? She did not know that she will get 0 bonus in the end of the project, or that she will actually get the bonus in the end of the project, and she still worked there. So what were you doing as a project manager? So of course, if she comes to you and there is no bonus expected, then you say, of course not. You're not going to change the rules for her at the end of the project. That will only indicate that you're a lousy project manager. So you say, why are you coming to me? What kind of question is that? The rules are on the wall. You knew about them 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Everybody knew about that. Everybody knew about the bonuses. So now you're coming to me, the project is closed. What kind of question is this? Why now? If there will be a beginning of the project, that would be the reasonable question. In the beginning of a project, okay, if I finish it successfully, if we finish it successfully, will I get the bonus? Your answer in this case would be, well, that's a good idea. Let me put it in the rules. Let me say that everybody who participates in the project for this amount of time, with this amount of contribution, will get this amount of money at this particular moment of time. Boom, that's it. And no questions to you. So the answer number 1, I will do my best to get it for you. That's absolutely wrong because you're demonstrating that you have some personal attitude to one particular programmer. Why? For what reason? Because she just came to you? Why didn't you come to her before, yesterday, and tell her that, you know what, I'll try to get the bonus for you because of this is this? It's only because she arrives to you, only then you decide, okay, well, yeah, you're here, so let me think about you for a second. It only demonstrates that you don't care about your people. If you do it like this, if you say, I'll do my best to get it to you. Again, why didn't you do it yesterday? If you think that I deserve it, why didn't you pay attention to me? Like, imagine I'm this programmer, so I come to my manager and I ask this question. The answer will be, oh yeah, let me think about this. Why not yesterday? You were not happy with my work? So it's completely wrong. The answer number 2, it depends on many factors. It's even worse. Many factors. What factors? Why do I need to care about your factors? You're the project manager, I'm a programmer, so I want my bonus. Why should I care about your factors? You figure it out. You understand the factors and come to me with a number and tell me exactly how much I get for the amount of work I come to contribute. I don't tell you that my result depends on many factors. I just deliver it to you. I just write my code, I make my contribution. I don't tell you stories about factors. I just do my work. So do your work, give me the money. So this answer is also, in this answer number 2, the project manager is trying to remove himself from the conflict between money and people. So I come to you and say, give me the money because I know you are in charge of the budget, so you control the money. And you say, no, not really me. It's not really me controlling the budget. There are many other people, many other factors. So I'm just a little man here who decides nothing. So sorry about that, I cannot make anything. In this case, you're either lying to the person, you're either telling not the truth because you actually are a project manager, or you're not a project manager. You really don't control anything. You're nothing here. You're just sitting there and looking at, observing the reality instead of actually making decisions. So this answer is not right. So people will not like you if you answer like this. The answer number 3, do you think you deserve it? Well, in this case, this answer is okay. Of course, it's not perfect like the answer number 4, but it's okay because in this case, you kind of ask the person to evaluate herself. So you just say, please look at your results and think why you don't have the bonus yet. Because you don't have the bonus. So if she comes to you, it means that she doesn't have the bonus. So she knows it's going to be no bonus. So she knows that she doesn't deserve it. Well, she knows that there is no bonus, but she doesn't know whether she deserves it or she doesn't deserve it. So you're probably, if she doesn't have the bonus, she doesn't deserve it, if you are a good project manager. So probably she didn't look at the rules closely. So she didn't understand the rules. So if I'm a good project manager, I already defined who gets the bonus. I set the metrics and I set the numbers on the wall. So I told them half a year ago who will get the bonus when the project is done. And now she comes to me and said, will I get the bonus? Well, I'm saying, look at the wall, basically. Look at the paper on the wall. Look at the rules. Do you think you deserve it by the rules published on the wall? And if the answer will be yes, I just read it on the wall, and according to the information there, I do deserve it. Then I will say, oh, sorry, my mistake. I miscalculated probably. So of course you're gonna get the bonus. If she proves to me that according to the rules, she deserves the bonus. So with this question, I'm just telling, please read the rules. Or let's read it together. Let's read the rules together and decide whether it's my mistake or your mistake. So the answer number 3 is okay. Number 4 is perfect. It's an answer only a strong manager can give. The answer number 4 is the answer only really good professional project manager is not afraid to give to the people. The answer which is strongly negative, but based on rules, based on established standards. When you don't care about subjective attitude to this decision made by you of the people, because you will, as a project manager, make some people unhappy. This is, again, part of the job description, make people unhappy. This is what project managers do. Some people will be happy, some people automatically will be unhappy. Your job is to be strong while you make people unhappy, but not strong like you don't care about people. But you stick to the rules. Like a lawmaker. So I said it 6 months ago, but these are the rules. And you all agreed about that rules, that we all work according to the rules. So some people are happy with these rules. So some people will get the bonus, but you will not get the bonus because your productivity is lower. And you knew about it. So I'm not going to change my opinion. I'm not going to change my mind because just you come to me and look at me in the eyes and say, well, what about my bonus? I'm going to say, no, sorry. It's good, no bonus. Because other people will be unhappy if I give you the bonus. They will say, hey, come on. There were rules. We were working hard. We were doing a lot of work. We were working overtime because we wanted to get the bonus. She didn't do that. She just came to me, to you in the end of the project, asked you kindly, politely, and you said, yeah, okay, sure, I'll do my best. You're going to lose the best players of your team very soon if you act like that. Because it's a position of a weak manager. You have to be strong manager. In order to be strong, the only right way to be strong is to stick to the rules. Not be strong personally, like you scream in the office, you talk loud. This is not the indicator of strength. The real indicator of your strength is that you stick to the rules which you defined and agreed with everybody. So you propose them the rules of work, they agreed, and you stick to them. Okay, a few more questions. We move to the next one. Is it hard or impossible to establish such rules in advance? Actually, it's difficult. Actually, I've seen not so many teams which have that kind of strong management, which is based on rules. But I'm teaching you what you can do in your work. So of course, it's not going to be so easy. Of course, you're going to have troubles with that. You're not going to have many rules easily established. It will be difficult. So be prepared for that. So the right answer is number 4, but again, it's an answer which only a very strong professional project manager can do. If you can do it without offending the people, without offending the person who's asking you, you are absolutely professional. Question 5. If we ask 4 project managers what the project is about, what is the answer that comes from a good project manager? Well, again, the right answer is the right answer is 4. Again, as always. As in all these questions, but not all. I'm sorry, I'm kidding. But here it's number 4. So we're fixing the problem. So the right attitude to the project, to what the team is doing, is that actually this question. In this question, I'm trying to focus on the problem of defining the purpose of the project, defining what we do, what we work for. And this definition must be based, in my opinion, must be based on clearly specifying the problem which we solve. So it has to be a clear definition of something is wrong in the world. And this something that is wrong, we are fixing. Something that is not perfect right now, so we need to fix it. All other 3 definitions, they're less clear and they're misleading for the team. So for example, answer number 1, we are learning how to use a new technology. Learning how to use, it's very difficult to define what's this learning is coming to. Is it a kind of a school, so we're going to have some exam in the end, so we're going to pass some diploma, what's kind of university? No, it's a real project, so we're actually working in order to deliver something. So learning new technology cannot be the objective of the project. It can be maybe a side effect. So we are trying to fix the problem, we are trying to create the software, the application for doctors or the application for the patients so they can automatically get their results. So we're solving the problem. They don't have this application, so they have to go to the office to the doctor, maybe travel to the doctor far away and then get the recommendation, while it can be done faster through the mobile application. So there is a problem. People have troubles getting access to doctors. We solve that. Yes, we need to learn some new technology. We need to understand how iPhones work and we need to understand how AI works. But the learning is not the objective. The objective is fixing the problem. So the second answer, we're building a software. Also, building a software, anybody can build a software. Just building a software is not actually what we work for. Again, we need to have this software in order to solve the problem. If we can solve the problem without building a software, that's great. Let's solve it. Let's not build the software. And again, your job as a project manager is to identify this problem and make sure that the solution that proposed by the project actually is the best one to solve this particular problem. So solving the problem is the objective. And answer number 3, we're trying to develop a new algorithm. Again, it's a side effect. Your new algorithm may potentially contribute to the problem we solve, but maybe not. So bottom line, if you don't have the problem defined clearly, then most probably your project will have troubles with understanding the scope. On the next lecture, we're going to talk about scope management, how you as a project manager need to deal with the definition of scope. The first step in the definition of scope is to defining the problem. So think about this. Do you know? And the problem must always be formulated. Something is wrong. So the problem cannot be the algorithm. There is an interesting algorithm to be developed. This is not the definition of the problem. You have to say there is no algorithm that would allow this and that. So when you define the problem for your project, make sure that you're saying that the world is in trouble. The world doesn't have something. People are not happy. So people don't have something that they need. We're going to give it to them. Question number 6. The scope is unclear, the team is immature, the management is chaotic, risks are huge, we're in trouble, everything is bad. This is the real situation where you're going to end up when you're going to work in real projects. This is what most cases will happen. What's the right answer? First one, find another job. It's definitely not the right answer because you're gonna go with another company, you're gonna get to the same situations. It's everywhere. Trust me, it's everywhere the same. You're not gonna find the perfect job. You're not gonna find the perfect team. You're not gonna find the perfect company. It's gonna be always a trouble. So number one, you're gonna just jump from job to job. You're gonna not find anything interesting. Number 2, set the limits of your responsibility. It's better. So you just say, I'm not going to pay attention to the troubles around. I'm just define my responsibility. So I'm only responsible for this. So if you give me this input, then I will give you this output and I'm responsible for what I did, but nothing else. In this case, your career will not grow. So you will be very limited in your responsibility, and this responsibility will just get smaller and smaller. So you will not grow as a project manager. So it's kind of lousy position for people who just don't want to grow. They don't want to actually be project managers. That will only protect you. Answer number 3, rely on already established mechanism of the company. This is better answer because in this case you look at what's looking at the company and you use what you can use. So you just basically inherit the rules which already exist in the company. And the answer number 4 means conquer. It's the right answer. So that means establish your own rules. When you get in a situation when the chaos is there, it's a great opportunity for you to propose your rules of work, to set up the project inside. Like, remember, we just talked about the rules. The job of a project manager is to define how we're gonna work. So who gets the bonus when the project finishes? How we evaluate the performance of the people? How we calculate the time, the risks, and how we calculate the budget? How we attend the office? How we don't attend the office? Who works overtime? Who doesn't work overtime? So if all of these rules don't exist, and basically this is what the definition of the problem is saying, that these things are not defined, so that everything is chaotic. The chaos is coming from the lack of rules. And if this is what you see, then that's a great opportunity for you to be the rule setter, to be the rule maker. And if you are the rule maker, you get the power. You get the most of the power if you are able to define the rules. Whether they will allow you to define the rules, that's a separate question. Because in most cases, they're going to fight back because people love chaos. In the situation of chaos, it's easier for low productive, lazy, ineffective people to be in power. So these people will fight back. These people will try to stop you from defining rules for good work. But if you somehow deal with them, if you somehow resolve this conflict, and we're going to discuss it later, then you can actually get into power and you become the man who established the rules. And in this case, the projects will go forward according to your expectations. So my bottom line is that the project manager is responsible for making the rules of work. And if I work in your project, I expect you as a project manager to give me their rules. So I don't expect you to say, I don't know. I don't expect you to say, well, it depends on many factors. Or please resolve it by yourself. I'm expecting you to be the rule maker. I don't expect you to be the leader. I'm not expecting you to be the mentor. I don't need these roles. I have these roles from other team members. I need you to be something else. And let's discuss what it is. So a good project manager is leading. Probably from listening what I was telling you for the last hour, is that leadership and leading people is not what the project manager has to do. In my opinion, we don't need this because this leadership is something for maybe the architect, maybe the special role in the team, who is the product manager, for example, who is leading people towards the better product, to better understanding of humans' life. So these people are leaders. Maybe the interpreter, the CEO of the company who gives the money, that guy may be the leader. But the project manager should not be the leader, should not lead us. The project manager should do something else. The project manager is about establishing rules. The project manager is defining how we work, defining the laws of work according to which we work, we know how to work. Helping us, maybe a little bit better, because leading is definitely not. Helping us maybe better, because actually we have some troubles, and when the troubles are happening, so I come to the manager and I say, please help me. But again, if the manager is a good manager, the manager is thinking forward and it doesn't wait for me to come for the help. The manager already established the mechanisms and, again, the rules which I just use, and I'm happy to know that, well, the rules were already defined. So everything is set up. So I don't want my manager to help me, for example, to fix the air conditioner. And I don't want anyone in the office to fix me the air conditioner. I want the air conditioner to work. So I'm not expecting to go somewhere and say, please come to my office, the air conditioner doesn't work, please help. No, I want this to happen without my attention. I don't need this helper. I want I want it to be fixed before I even pay attention to it. So helping is not good. So because some project managers, they feel happy, they feel proud when they help people. They feel like this is their position of power and position of respect when they come to the office, and many people just come to them and say, please help, I need this, let's talk, let's discuss, we need your opinion, we need your decision. That's absolutely wrong. A good manager is the guy who you don't see in the office. You don't even sometimes know who is the project manager. That's the ideal project manager. The guy who is sitting, looking at the reality, sitting quietly, looking at what's going on, and once in a while just comes up with a document which says, from now on, starting tomorrow, if you come to the office too late, you're gonna have a penalty, you're gonna have a fine of, I don't know, $10 deducted from your salary. That's a document for you to sign. No large discussions, no meetings. That's just a new rule which the manager just quietly introduced because he sees or she sees what's going on in the system, in the office, in the project. And the second job of a project manager, like we discussed in the beginning, to put all the reality together, estimate what's going to happen tomorrow, and deliver this to the customer and to other stakeholders who are interested. So I look at if I'm a project manager, I look at the reality, I see the problems, I see that some people are less productive than other people, and that affects the result of the project. What do? I start thinking, maybe there's not enough motivation, then I increase maybe some bonuses for better work. Maybe there is some negative motivation is required. Maybe I need to punish some people for being lazy or whatever. Then I do this, I introduce some new rules for punishing people, and so on and so forth. But I do it not by leading, not by talking, not by making loud meetings and large discussions. I work like an engineer. We can say that the project manager is an engineer of the process. So I look at what's going on the paper and I engineer. I see there's a missing element there. I need to inject it there. There's a missing, for example, missing bonus for the people who successfully complete their job, their tasks on time, blah, blah, blah. So I introduce this. So I go to the customer, I say, hey, we need extra money in order to introduce this bonus. I do it quietly. I don't need to make loud meetings for it. Then I make a document and I say, these people who are able to do this and this, they will get some additional bonus. And I publish it. And then I look at what's going on in the next week and the next week, and I see that, the productivity gets up. Good. So my intervention, my contribution to this system, my small component which I just injected into this system actually worked. So I'm happy. Judging is better than helping. Judging is deciding who is right, who is wrong. And this is the role which project managers may play, because this is the role, like I said, a good project manager before must play this role. Remember the situation when the programmer came to me and asked whether I'm going to get the budget. So I judged. No. I gave a strong opinion that no, you're not going to get the bonus. So I'm sitting like a judge and I make decisions. But again, it's not perfect because she came to me. It means that I didn't do my work before. I didn't publish the principles of work before. So the right answer is 4, punishing, even though it sounds quite aggressive, but this is true. So if you established your rules of work so specific, so detailed, so fair, that all people accepted that rules, that then when the situation happens, some wrong situation, then you as a project manager need to punish the people who violate the rules. And if you punish them strongly, according to the rules, not according to your subjective opinion about them, not because you don't like somebody, but because they broke the rules. And if you do the punishment properly, then the entire team, the entire company, they will respect you a lot and they will work better. They will know that the rules are not just the papers on the wall, but they're real, practical application of our common understanding of how good work must be done. So your job is to do the punishment. You're not to be the judge, not the one who decides. The decision is already made by the team. You already published the rules. You already discussed with the team in the beginning who will get what and why we work like this and why we, for example, do 2 code reviews for each pull request instead of 1 code review. And why we reject pull requests if 1 code review is not passed. We just already agreed about that. That's a decision made by the team. Your job is to punish people who violate this rule. And then all team will respect you for this. They will know that you do the hard work, you do the dirty work. But that's very important. And in this case, you will be a strong professional project manager. So the right answer is 4, punishing. The final question, which you probably already understand the answer. What is the right answer? So definitely book number 1, Drive. You can read it, but I believe it's completely wrong. I may say this, so I disagree with this book. The Scrum book, you may read it just to understand what Scrum is, but we will discuss these agile ideas in the next lecture, and I will show you why most of them are, in my opinion, at least wrongly understood by the community right now. So they may be okay by their intention in the beginning, but they really practically applied in the wrong way. So this book is also not the decision for not a book for a good manager. Book number 3 may be better, because in this case they will give you the software of how you can break down the scope, how you can control this triangle, how you can put pieces together, because manually doing this, it's very time consuming. So every time recalculating how long it will take. Imagine your project is for 1 year. So how really can you every day go around all the details and recalculate whether it's going to be 1 year or it's going to be 13 months? It's very time consuming. So this software will help you. So you just, for example, somebody comes to you and say, I'm sick, so I cannot work next week. So you just go to the software, you move this piece of work a little bit further down the calendar, and you just recalculate the entire project. So this software will definitely help you if you're the project manager. These or similar software. There are many software packages on the market. But the actual book which will definitely help you is this book by Rita Mulcahy. She passed away a few years ago, unfortunately. In my opinion, this is the best author about project management. So everything I'm saying you on this lecture, I got from this book. Well, a few more books written by the same author. So if you read this book, we're gonna be on the same page. We will understand each other. You will know what I'm talking about. So it's gonna be no surprise for you, and you will really understand project management. So the answer, again, the right answer is 4. So, okay, now I have my question to you. We're a little bit over time. So who actually managed to answer at least 4 questions correctly? Who got 4 right answers? Raise your hand. Yeah, we see that some person 1 answer. Okay, who managed to get 2 answers correctly? Okay, so you guys, so it's good. I mean, that means that these lectures actually change something in your understanding of project management. So I'm saying something which you didn't know before, which is great. That's the purpose. And one question here asked by the audience: is it okay to rewrite rules? Definitely, the rules must be constantly rewritten and reviewed, polished, understood better, discussed with the team. Definitely. It's not something written in stone. It's not something you write, you publish in the beginning of the project, and you never change. You change it maybe every day. This is the job of a manager: is to work with the rules, is to constantly look at the rules and see whether our team, whether the project team is happy with the rules we defined 3 months ago. And if they're not happy, you try to suggest changes. It's not their job to do this. If they come to you and say, we don't like the rules, it's too late. It means that you missed that point. You already missed the problem which happens in the team. You need to look at the team, you need to talk to them, discuss with them how are they happy with the rules, whether they actually find it fair to work according by the rules you define there. So if they like the rules, if they find them fair, so don't expect them to like the rules. Some of the rules will be quite violent, they will be quite negative to them. For example, we don't pay like some bonus to the person who doesn't deliver this result on time, blah, blah, blah. Of course it's negative. Of course the person will not get the money. So the person will be unhappy, of course. That's part of the job. Like I said, part of your job is to deliver bad news, is to be negative in some situation. And actually if your rules are well established, then your job will be only about punishing. You will be only doing the bad job, the dirty job, the difficult job, because the good job will be done automatically. The people will just get their bonuses from the cashier, from the accounting department automatically. They will just deliver results. There will be some registration of the results. Yes, done. Boom, money goes to them. Everything is clear. But in difficult situations, you will jump in and you will do the punishing work. And that's what the project manager is doing. If it's a good project manager, the bad project manager is leading, is talking, making loud speeches, promising people very bright future, but in the reality nobody listens to that and nobody trusts that person. They know that this person is just talking. So real project manager is doing this, actually making hard decisions and punishing according to the established rules, not personally, because bad project managers, they love to punish, but subjectively. I don't like you. I don't like how you talk to me. I don't like your attitude. That's something which you may hear. I don't like your attitude. That's why you have to go to another company. That's why you're fired. That's absolutely, this is close to this one, to the leading. So it's absolutely wrong. Next time we're going to talk about scope. And one more thing, look, wait a second. So we, by the end of each lecture, I will ask you to spend some time on your labs, on your practical exercises, and create one document which a project manager needs to work with. So remember, I told you the project manager has rules, and these rules usually must be defined in a project, in a document which is called project charter. So project charter is a document where we define how the project is going forward. So what happens in the project, sort of rules, sort of laws for the team. So I'm asking you to spend some time to Google, try to find how people write project charters, and write your own project charter for your own project. It may be 1 page, it may be 2 pages, 3 pages, depends on your project, depends on your situation. So write it down and try to there in this project, it could be an imaginative project, something which you don't really have, but the project which you would love to work with. So write a project charter for it. And in the end of each lecture, I will give you such documents and you will just create them. So by the end of the course, you're going to have 10 documents created, which you as a project manager must have in an average, in some software project which you may work for. And then, as we discussed, we are all interested to spend some time and do some research. Do some research work where you will probably do surveys and ask project managers and software developers around. So we're going to try to find out what really is happening in their team. So I told you now my view of project management. I will keep telling you my view about project management. But we're interested, what is actually happening there? What is the real situation? How do they understand what is project management, how they treat management processes, management regulations, and everything which we discuss at the lecture. So try to do the research and you will see, you'll be surprised how the things which I explained to you contradict sometimes with the reality. And we will try to publish our conclusions. Maybe they will help other people to understand project management better.